Microjig, maker of the gripper. Work safer, work smarter.
Consider supporting my free content by becoming a member of my Patreon community. You can find out more by visiting my Patreon link in the description of this video. There are two pieces of wood that are going to hold the drawers to the riser rails, and I'm going to get them from a chunk of 8-quarter cherry. Now I just need to square one end and I can cut these guys to length. I need to lap this piece that I just made into the bottom of the riser rail. And there's two of these, one's gonna go in the back and one's gonna go in the front. It doesn't need to be a half lap because I need to have it extend down by 1/4 of an inch because I want a 1/4 of an inch reveal between the top of the drawer and the bottom of the front rail. Now, in order to make these lap joints, I'm gonna use this very simple jig that I made several years ago. So these two pieces will get eventually glued and screwed to the riser rail. I'm going to pre-drill a countersink for 4 number 8 wood screws in each of the 2 riser rails. And I'm going to pre-drill with a drill bit that's wide enough so that when the screw exits the other side of the riser rail, there's a little bit of wiggle room to accommodate seasonal changes in humidity when the top expands and contracts. Because my bit isn't long enough, when I pre-drill, I need to pre-drill from the other side of the board. For a little bit of added security, I'm going to elongate these outermost holes on the riser rails. I'm very close to gluing the base of the desk together, but before I can do that, I need to round over the corners of all the pieces, and I'm going to use an 1/8 inch radius roundover bit at the router table, and then I gotta do a lot of sanding. So I have everything out of the clamps, and now I'm ready to start working on the top to the desk. Now my biggest fear when working on the rest of the desk is damaging what I've already made, because my shop is kind of small. I'm only in a 2-car garage. So I have this in the back of the shop, and hopefully I won't damage anything while I'm working on the rest of the build. I'm gonna get the top for the desk from 4 4/4 inch thick boards, but before I can rip these to rough width, I need to get a straight edge on one side, and I'm gonna do that at my joiner. I think I said earlier that there were 4 boards for the top, but for this top there's actually going to be 5. So the next thing I need to do is flatten one face, and then I'll plane all of the boards to thickness. I have the top out of the clamps, and I scraped off most of the glue. I'm going to cut one end square using a clamping edge guide and a circular saw. Then I'll cut the other end to length. With my handheld router, I'm going to round over the bottom of the top with a 1/4 inch radius roundover bit, and I'm going to round over the top with an 1/8 inch radius roundover bit. It's always a good idea to use a block plane on all the edges of a tabletop, especially on the edges where you used your joiner, because the joiner actually will leave little scallop marks, and if you don't get those with your hand plane, it'll look hideous after you apply your finish. So I already got all the edges with my hand plane, and I rounded over the bottom. Now I just need to round over the top with a 1/8 inch radius roundover bit. I would have normally used the hand plane on all of the edges before I started rounding over, but I forgot. So I caught it in time, and now I just need to do the top with the roundover bit. I'm gonna stop part 2 here, and really all I have left to do now is make 2 drawer boxes and 2 drawers, which will get suspended underneath, and that'll be a wrap.